Hello there and welcome back to the Rugby Hour. It is me again, Hugh, and I'm joined by...
Kieran again, and we have an announcement.
Yes, we do. We are now on Apple Music and Spotify.
Yes, and all many other podcast forms. So, hopefully it can widen our audience a bit, give people a bit more convenience as well.
Yeah, so we're now on all good streaming platforms for your podcasts.
So basically, we are officially a professional podcast.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, should we then get onto the rugby? Because a lot of rugby happened over the weekend.
Oh boy, did it happen.
It did.
A lot of rugby.
Right, I think the place to start will be with the Autumn Internationals.
Yes,
or
what
Autumn
a
Nations
Saturday that
Series.
was.
What a Saturday. 5 games, a lot of beer being drank.
I feel some of them didn't turn out quite the thrillers we would have hoped.
And I would know.
But some of them did turn out to be the thrillers that we
very
much hoped. So, should we start with the first international game of the weekend?
Yeah, so we'll start with Italy versus New Zealand.
Yes.
New Zealand winning 47-9. Perhaps not as bad as you think that scoreline would be.
Well, I felt since the last Six Nations, I've been very fond of where Italy are going.
Yeah.
I think a lot
this
of
was the first game under their new coach.
And Italy really do look competent recently.
Their defence... It took the All Blacks until the 22nd minute to score.
Which is impressive for any team against the All Blacks.
Yeah. Italy.
Let alone Italy.
Throughout the game, they conceded a lot of the points in the last 15 minutes, when their fitness started to go as you'd expect.
You beat a lot more teams with that by keeping it competitive to the last 60.
Yeah. But, that's the difference between the two nations.
I was a bit disappointed when Italy decided to get a new coach, so I thought they were going in the right direction.
Yeah, Franco Smith was doing well, but he was only interim. They made that clear from the start, and they got what's his name, the New Zealander.
You can't remember either.
No. But what I will say is Italy put in a very, very good defensive performance for the first 65 minutes. They were able to disrupt the All Blacks. I think there were many times where the All Blacks got to the 5 metre line and they messed up.
They're more and more putting to bed now, because a lot of people recently have said Georgia put them in the Six Nations instead of Italy.
Yeah.
But I think they're showing more and more now why they shouldn't be, because if they keep improving at this rate and then having a solid defence and building on it, they could be a solid Six Nations team, you'd have to say.
Yeah, definitely. But they were able to disrupt and frustrate the All Blacks for 60 minutes. It was a very, very sound performance from Italy.
Yeah. It's pleasing to see as well.
Yeah, pleasing to see. Everyone wants Italy to do well.
I mean, I think everyone, because they've been too much of a pushover-ish team for a while. As much as I hate to say that, you can't really beat around the bush too much, but... it's really, really nice to see, actually. So
I suppose then the question is, do you think Italy will be able to win a game in in next year's Six Nations?
I would be surprised if they pull off an upset. I really would.
Really? Yeah, because the other 5 nations are very, very strong at the moment.
Yeah, it's like the other 5 nations have got extremely strong right when Italy are getting mildly competent.
Yes. But
it's... Yeah, but no, I mean, you see upsets all the time. I think if they're playing, I don't know what the fixtures list is. I don't know who they're playing towards the end, but you generally can see a few upsets towards the end of the Six Nations when a few injuries are picked up and everything gets shaken up and there's higher stakes and more pressure on certain teams.
Yeah,
there's no pressure on Italy.
No, not at all.
So, no, I think they could really do well. What about you?
I don't see them winning a game, but I don't think we'll see any big blowouts as we have done for the past 6 years in the Six Nations.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if someone put 70 points on them.
I'd actually be surprised if somebody put 60 points on them.
Yeah.
I think, and I reckon they'll score a good few tries of their own as well. And I don't know. I think it's actually me today. I reckon teams may struggle to put 50 on them, which they have done in the past.
Well, if teams can they treat Italy as much of a rest week as they used to? really put out as much of a second string side.
I don't think so. I mean, in last year's Six Nations, they were good. Nobody was. I mean, other than probably their game against Ireland.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say anybody was. The scorelines got big, but after every one of them, people thought that scoreline shouldn't have been that bad. Italy were actually quite good. They deserve better.
Yeah, and I can't remember what it was. I mean, it was a year ago.
Do you know what? There was that game against England at Twickenham.
Yeah.
Where they actually did look very good in that game. They scored first in that game. England really had to work for their victory there.
It's just, I guess they weren't playing, maybe game plan, maybe they were slightly softer in defence and just gave territory the opposite. I can't quite remember what it was. But they played. I remember them playing very competently and very quite well when they had it. They just weren't able to convert it as much as other teams.
But it will definitely be interesting to see how they go on. And we'll talk about this later in more depth. But they got Argentina next week.
Yeah.
Or this week now. And Argentina are struggling at the moment.
Yeah, that's actually going to be quite interesting to see.
It could be quite interesting to watch that game.
Yeah.
But anyway, if we move on from that to the other 1 o'clock kickoff, which was at the Aviva, Ireland versus Japan.
I was expecting a lot more out of this game. I mean, I didn't watch much of the game at all because I was at Bristol and it was just on the TVs in there underneath the stadium as we were getting ready to watch the game. So but I saw about that much of it. But
60 points to 5, Ireland won.
I think it seems to tell me pretty conclusive how the game went.
Yeah. Japan were disappointing. It seemed for a lot of it was just Jimeno against 15 Irish players. But Japan were...
It is disappointing as well because Japan are a team... I, as well as I know, a lot of people want to do well.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of people like
They
Japan.
had a good performance against Australia 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They had a good performance there, pushed Australia
Was it a much changed side?
Not really. They also had players like Matashima come back in. It was really strange, really disappointing from Japan.
Or are Irish, not Irish, are the Irish.
I was just going to say that I don't want to take away from Ireland because they looked very, very good.
Yeah.
And Sexton on his 100th cap was playing like 2013 Sexton.
It's crazy to think. I thought he would have got 100 caps a while ago, but he's been that much involved in the game. It feels like he's been there for much longer than he has, I feel.
Well, he's been playing... Because he had to first compete with Ronan O'Gara.
Yeah.
But then he was able to displace Ronan O'Gara.
And he didn't really have much opposition or competition for his spot for a long period.
He's been very much, especially under Joe Schmidt, he's very much been the guy, Johnny Sexton has. And in all fairness, when he's playing like he did on Saturday, as he has done for most of the past decade, probably not the last year and a bit.
The last year or two, I think.
I mean, it was right that he was omitted from the Lions squad because he wasn't playing good rugby at that point.
What is it with Flying Halves getting omitted and then playing supremely well in form?
Well,
I'm alluding to as one, as you probably can guess, George Ford.
Yeah.
It seems to be something with these Six Nations teams. They love to exclude a 10 from a squad and then that 10...
Well, what about? It's just England that exclude informed 10s. It's just England that exclude informed players.
Well, I think maybe... I mean, I don't want to sound crazy here, but people didn't see George Ford as in form when he was playing for that England shirt. Mm-hmm. So then he got dropped, and now people saying, oh, he's very good, he's very in form.
You don't realise how good something is until it's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, Johnny Sexton playing... It may just be one game, but looks...
Any other standouts?
Like his best rugby. I thought Ringrose had a very good game in the centre. I was sort of switching in and out between... putting my concentration between Italy, New Zealand, Ireland, Japan, but Ireland did just look very strong all over. They were very good in attack. And I think that Ireland will win the Six Nations next year.
Oh, really?
I think, yeah.
Ireland v France is going to be...
No, the problem is it won't be an Irish Grand Slam.
No.
But I have this feeling in my knees, Kieran. I've got this feeling in my bones that Ireland will win the Six Nations next year.
Well, I'll hold you to it.
Yeah, we'll come mid-March. We'll see how that prediction went.
Yeah, so should we move on to the next game?
Yes, so the third game on Saturday was England against Tonga. Now...
69-3.
69-3, nice.
I didn't want to make the joke, but...
we're very immature.
Well, you're very mature, Hugh.
It was expected that.
Yeah.
It was a first choice England team, apart from Owen Fowler, of course, tested positive for COVID, but turned out to be a false positive.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I didn't
he's
see
back.
that yet.
Yeah, but he's back in the England squad this week. But so that left us not knowing who was either captaining or starting at 10 for England until 90 minutes before kickoff.
Yeah, and speaking of starting at 10...
Starting at 10, so George Furbank started at 10. Now, Marcus Smith, we're told, picked up a knock in training earlier in the week.
Something about these England camps...
They're rough.
I mean, as a Bristol fan, I have to bring up the Harry Randall case.
Yeah.
2 England camps, 2 injuries.
Yeah.
Out with Bristol for a fair amount of time. And this one as well, it was in paddleboarding.
Yeah, well, they went to Jersey.
Yeah. And I saw that the English... It was interesting because the English medics cleared him after the paddleboarding incident to train with the England squad. And then he picked up a major injury from the same ankle in the England's training camp. So
that is...
I'm not sure what the doctors are thinking training-wise. I mean, it's something that can really affect a team's form. If you have a player, like a key player, get injured during training, say you're Harry Randall, if he was your only good scrum half. Yeah. Not saying he is, because I don't know how Ben Young's played at the weekend.
Had a decent game. I mean, it was nothing special.
But yeah, if a key player, if a fly half gets injured, for example, I mean, I think there's maybe enough depth, but it could really affect form. And are they just training too rough?
Yeah. Well, Eddie Jones have always been brutal as training camps. I mean, minimum like 4 players get injured.
It is crazy.
But so starting at 10 was George Furbank, and a lot of people seemed annoyed at that because why not start
Everyone
Marcus
wants
Smith?
to see Marcus Smith.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Everyone does. But George Furbank played at 10, and must say I thought George Furbank had a good game. He did all the basics well. He looked...
I mean, he's a good player. He's very much capable of slotting into 10.
Admittedly, it wasn't against the best opposition.
Yeah.
But he still put in a good shift.
I do think this would have been a good opposition to put Marcus Smith in.
Well, he came off the bench and played very, very well off the bench.
I did see, I only got to watch the highlights, but I saw him put in some very good...
He did play very well off the bench. And that's led this week, with all the hype around him, to Eddie Jones, who's going on about how Marcus Smith can't let his fame get to him, and then referred to Emma Raducanu, going on, since she won the US Open, what's she done? Appeared on a magazine and that's it. But I think that's really unfair to Emma Raducanu, by the way. She's 18 and won the US Open. So I think Eddie Jones is making a ridiculous point, okay? But I get the point about not letting his fame go to your head with Marcus Smith, but I don't think that is happening.
I don't think he's got much fame-wise.
Well, he's very popular because everyone wants him to start because he's very, very good.
But but still, he's not in the England camp. He's not like a world star. He's not like he's won the World Cup. I mean, he's won the Premiership. But there's still a lot more for him to achieve and not get complacent about, because if there's anything you know about Eddie Jones, you're not going to get in that England 10 shirt very easily. No. So I'm sure he's well aware not to get complacent, not to get ahead of himself when he hasn't even got he hasn't got a really, really competitive England start yet. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Yeah. He's had an England start, but not against your South Africa, your big test games. It's
why I really want to see him start against Australia this weekend. Yeah. Against the Tier 1 nation, see how he does in that test arena. Because in all honesty, I wouldn't start him against South Africa.
He would get smashed.
Could you imagine little old Marcus Smith running at 6'4", 20 stone Dwayne Vermeulen?
Imagine you had like Harry Randall and Marcus Smith as your halfbacks against South Africa.
Yeah.
That would just be
brutal. But look, I don't think Marcus Smith should start against South Africa because I actually don't think Marcus Smith's style of play is what's going to beat South Africa.
I think he'll try too many things that would get him caught in a lot of trouble.
And Owen Farrell's a far safer pair of hands at 10. But going back to the England-Tonga game, I want to say about Courtney Lawes, who was captaining the side, very well deserved, and he did. He proved he was very deserving of captaining that side with that interception from the Tonga fullback in Tonga's 22, going the length of the pitch. I want to say first, a fantastic step from around Freddie Stewart. And it looked for all money he was going to finish, but for incredible work rate and an incredible tackle from Courtney Lawes. Who had an excellent game.
It was incredible. And pure upper body strength to keep him up.
But the pure effort and work rate to run the length of the pitch.
From a second row as well.
But Courtney Lawes had
how tall he's got to be? 6'4".
He's much taller than that.
Really?
Yeah.
Sick. However tall he is, he's basically lugging a skyscraper halfway across the field just to make a tackle against a fullback.
Yeah, and especially against a team where it probably doesn't matter if they score that try.
Well, exactly. And it shows just the pure body on the line regardless, I think.
And
incredible.
He's definitely deserving, regardless of where, he's deserving of a start in any team he plays in.
Yeah.
I thought he was my player of the series on the Lions tour. Maro Toje won that, and don't get me wrong, Maro Toje was excellent.
They're both fantastic players.
I thought Courtney Lawes, it's just
quite formidable having both of them in the England side.
Yeah, I know.
But could be interesting to see. Well, now I don't want to say now that they're back in form because they've not really had a dip in form, but now we've got, because I feel there was obviously that year break with no England tests. Having them in the England side is going to be. And it's going to be really nice to see.
Hopefully with England starting to build again, because their attack did look more innovative against Tonga, where I feel they can afford to be.
I don't know. I don't think England would be immediately better because it's a building process for the World Cup. Yes. And a lot of the players are very new in the squad.
Yeah, but at this point, it's really starting where the Tier 1 nations start really building for the World Cup.
Yeah, but I think this year will be a year of an important year of learning
embedding
for a lot of the players. Yeah, win or lose, it's going to do them a lot.
Yeah, because for England, you have in the back three, you had Freddie Stewart and Adam Radwan with their second, third caps.
I mean, it's good. You almost want them to be in a scenario where mid-game they're down on points, they need to come back. You want them to be able to learn as a team on how they respond. So I don't expect, and I'm not going to be massively disappointed as an England fan if they lose a game, if they're not completely there. I think it's going to, you've just got to look for those promising signs that they're going to be really good in the World Cup, because you look at the players, the young talent they've got in that squad. It's like when you looked at the France squad like 2 years ago, and you see all that young talent, and it's coming together now.
It's exciting. And you know what? The South Africa test is probably the best test match that England could have arranged. Yeah. Because you're going to get to see how, if you bring in new forwards, for example, there's a sort of new look backup front row. Yeah. Because there's no Cowan Dickey, so there's the Newcastle hooker. And and you got Ellis Genji's claiming a starting England shirt now.
I think he's deserved that for
he does deserve it.
I preferred him over Mako.
Yeah, and the way he's been playing for Leicester as well. So you got new look players in the front row. You got you're trying out new backup scrum halves. Yeah, as well, and then you're looking at players in the back three. So Freddie Stewart, Adam Radwan. So when it comes to the South Africa game, because they'll start that Freddie Stewart and Adam Radwan, who are you going to start over them?
Exactly.
The England team that was played on Saturday is the one that will start against South Africa.
It's very much. I wouldn't be surprised if they just went. They didn't go full intensity. They just.
Yeah. Bar,
I mean, they won by a massive amount still.
yeah, but bar George Furbank, of course, Owen Farrell coming back in, that will be the team that starts against South Africa. And it will be interesting how someone like Freddie Stewart, who particularly in Premiership is renowned for how good he is under the high ball, it'll be interesting how he deals with South Africa's kicking game.
Yeah.
And how Adam Radwan works with him in that back row. Yeah. Not that back row, that back three.
And just quickly, before we move on from this game, I want to reiterate something Eddie Jones actually said.
Yeah.
I can't remember when it was. It must have been over a year ago. But he said the game very much fluctuates between a period of slow play, defence focused, and a period of fast play, attack focused.
Yeah.
Is he now seeing that shift? You look at the players he's bringing in. Is he now seeing that shift? And you look at who's winning the Premiership and which teams starting,
that are up there.
Is he starting to see the game is now going in that faster play? You look, he's bringing Marcus Smith in, Harry Randall, all these Don Brandts, all these young players that are playing this fast rugby.
Yeah.
Is Eddie Jones now saying this is the time for these players? Now we're at fast rugby. This is where they come in.
Because we're transitioning into that, and at the World Cup, we'll be at that fast rugby at test match level.
So I'm wondering, because before he didn't include these players because it was a defence-focused game, he was saying himself, the same reason he's now going to include them. Yeah. So...
yeah, so
it's interesting to think about.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But now, if we move on to what I thought... Well, I'm the most pissed off about it, and I'm very, very pissed off, to what I thought was the best game of the weekend in a grueling test match in a reigning Principality Stadium.
What more could you want?
Between Wales and South Africa. Final score, Wales 18, South Africa 23.
Yo, I have to say, you went to the Wales New Zealand game. You bought tickets to the wrong game.
I don't think I did because I did enjoy that game. But do you know what? I do wish I was in the stadium for that because the atmosphere seemed immense, as it always does at the Principality.
I mean, the Principality atmosphere, whoever they're playing,
it's the best in the world.
A high-level test side is gonna be...
It's the best stadium in the world.
I haven't been, I can't say.
No, but it is.
To me, Ashton Gate has to be the best. It's the best one I've been to.
All right. I want to say first, I want to get my big shout out to Ellis Jenkins, who had his first Wales start for 3 years after picking up a huge injury in 2018 against South Africa.
Yeah.
His first start for 3 years for Wales, or his first test match for 3 years for Wales, I thought he was absolutely immense in that game. He was incredible. He made so many crucial turnovers.
Yeah.
At crucial points. There were points where, I think it was just towards the end of the first half where South Africa had been in our 22 for quite a while, and this turnover, it was incredible from Ellis Jenkins. And that alone is worthy of all this praise. But not just that, his overall performance was amazing. And I honestly think if he hadn't got that injury 3 years ago, that completely derailed his career, now we'd be talking of him as one of the best players in the world. Because I honestly believe that. And it's not just based off one game, it's based off how he was playing before he got that injury.
See, I don't remember him too much because I was never a massive Wales-focused person.
No, but he was playing immense then, and he was played absolutely immense now. But anyway, enough of my man crush on Ellis Jenkins, even though, and I'll reiterate, he had an excellent game.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about other events that happened in that game. So the sides traded penalties for a bit in the first half. Wales going to half-time 12-15 9 up, was it?
They were up.
We were up. It was like by 3 or 6. But we were definitely 15-9 up at one point. Where there really was nothing splitting the two sides.
Yeah.
Because they are incredibly evenly matched.
I mean, when it was penalty only in the game.
Yeah.
Did South Africa get a try?
Yeah, they got a try. Yeah. But there was this one kick. What was it? It was because it was at 15-9. Franz Steyn from 54 metres. I mean, it's Franz Steyn. That's nothing for him. 54
Franz Steyn
metres.
from 54 metres is just another day in the office, isn't it?
That is literally nothing for him.
Yeah.
And by the way, the ball looked like it had another good 10 metres on it.
I'm sure it is.
But
that's not even at full
power.
power.
By the way, Franz Steyn ended up getting man of the match. And in all fairness, Yeah,
I mean, the game was so much kicking.
He had a great game. Then South Africa have a try disallowed.
I didn't see that because the highlights I'll just mention absolutely dreadful. I don't know who's editing them, but they've never seen a game of rugby in their life.
Yeah,
and it's like it actually almost ruins some of the stuff from it because they didn't show any of the Wales penalties.
Pointless highlights.
Yeah. So it's like some of the comments, did Wales not score in this game? Yeah. It doesn't tell the story of the game. If you didn't look at the score, you wouldn't tell Wales. You would have thought it was a smashing. But anyway, back to this.
But this try that was ruled out. By the way, I'll point this out. Right. I'll point this out to South African media right now and South Africans. It was rightly disallowed because they've been going on a lot about this week, and the South African pundits and the South Africa Rugby magazine, they've been getting out like the thin yellow lines, Rassie Erasmus all over again, and they've been going on about how it was wrong to disallow it, but when they talk about that, they're not even mentioning the right player that was penalised.
What was it disallowed for?
Offside. And by the way, it was offside. Okay, and do you know what? The South Africans, they won, yet they're still complaining about the referee.
Do you want to make a Rassie Erasmus style video and then post this to the South African media of how it was a penalty?
Yeah, but I don't even need to because everybody else agrees it was a penalty. These South Africans, I think the South Africans need taking down a peg or two.
Yeah.
I think they do. I think they're incredibly arrogant at the moment.
Wow, that's a big general. No,
No, but they are. Look at the way they handled the
especially
Lions
the
tour.
rugby squad and the people around the rugby. Is this what you're getting about?
But look at the way they were in the Lions tour with Rassie Erasmus in his video. You look at the way they have been they won and they're still complaining about the ref, who had a good game, by the way.
Yeah. Who was the ref, by the way?
Paul Williams from New Zealand. If I got annoyed at the referee, but that's because I'm allowed to because we lost.
Yeah,
but I mean, he did have a decent game, the ref.
And as well with referees, they're not going to get everything perfect regardless.
No, but
because they're human for a start.
He did get wrong.
As long as if they spend time on something and they can still get it wrong, then fair enough. But if they're thinking stuff through, that's generally fine. If they miss something here or there, that's the thing that annoys me the most when people say they've missed this minuscule little penalty that's happened in play that they had their back turned to. Because they don't have eyes in the back of their heads. Like, you're going to get enough of those in a game that they cancel out between each team. Unless you've got one team that's not breaking any laws, doing anything, and you've got the other trying to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Now, every rugby team takes advantage of where they can.
However, I do want to talk about... we should have talked about this just before talking about Mpimbi's disallowed try. The score's 15-12. Wales have penalty advantage. They go out wide, then a stupid twat of a pitch invader comes onto the field. Now
show me the clip.
Liam Williams had acres of space. If he takes that ball cleanly and can run cleanly, I think he'll score.
I mean, even when the second from last man on the wing, I can't remember who it was, had the ball, there was acres of space. It's a simple draw pass. Yeah. You'd expect at least 5 metres out, quick ball, and then they score a try from it.
Yeah, but I think he would have scored with the space he had. I'm not saying he definitely would have scored. I'm saying
there's
I think
a high
he would
chance.
Have. But either way, this utter twat of a pitch invader has possibly cost Wales the chance of beating the Springboks.
I think no one likes that.
No.
As well.
And while we're on it, this Jarvo fella.
Oh, me and you both agree on this. That he's not a legend.
No, and I don't get why people say he is.
No, he's not doing anything great.
No.
He's just bringing, I don't want to say disrespect into the game.
Well, he is, because he does it during national anthems, which is a time you're supposed to be respectful. You're supposed to listen, sing, stand.
Like, I know Japanese culture is built on a lot of respect.
But it was just disrespectful. I see people going on, but it's like raising the profile of the game. Who's going to watch him run onto the pitch when national anthems and think, I should watch more rugby? Nobody is.
And also players, players, if you've played all your career in rugby, you to get to that international period, and
you don't want it spoiled.
And just to wear that kit, sing the national anthem.
It shouldn't be spoiled by some stupid twat.
And they've worked hard for that for some random. But should security be higher?
Security should be better, but full credit to the stewards at the Principality Stadium who took that stupid idiot away who possibly cost us the game.
Fair, at the Principality, they seemed to get him off the pitch quite quickly.
Yeah, but
he got on, but it's only because the stewards got him off very quickly. They ran on,
the
got
most
him
annoying
off.
thing is he ran on at the worst point he possibly could have.
That's why it wasn't fast enough.
The worst point he possibly could have.
I feel the only way they could have stopped to get him on is if they lined the whole perimeter with stewards.
It was a stupid drunk twat who ran onto the pitch at the exact moment where he shouldn't have.
And he's Welsh.
Well, he shouldn't have at any point in the game, but that's the exact moment when you especially should have. But as he was being escorted off, all the fans were throwing their pints at him. And which, by the way, pints at the Principality are £6. So that shows you how pissed off they are that they're throwing £6 at this person. And he has now been given a lifetime ban from the Principality Stadium, which is the right decision.
Let's put electric fences around the pitch.
Yes. That's not a bad idea, actually.
Players get tackled a bit too tough. They get electrocuted on fences.
But you know, I've seen some great suggestions for things that should happen to this guy. And one of them's like, he should be thrown a hospital pass opposite to Damien Diolande. And others is like, you let these guys sort of have a go at tackling players like Diolande, Manu Tuilagi and Talma Fahina, but then you let them have a go at him after.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good suggestions, those. But
well, if he had a go at tackling them, like if they're running full pelt at him, he's not tackling them.
No, exactly. So, but anyway, that's enough on the stupid twat, because I don't want it to overshadow what was a good game of rugby. Anyway, the Springboks score a try with the scores at 18 points to 15 through a driving maul, as you'd expect, through Malcolm Marks, showing once again the strength of the Springbok pack and the Springboks bench.
Yeah, and you think after so many years of them doing it, people would realise how to stop it, but they're just stupidly strong.
But no one can. I mean, they're just South Africans.
Yeah.
No one can stop it. It's a surefire way to win rugby games, it seems. But anyway, Wales... I thought Wales played very well, and I'm immensely proud of the team that went out and of the performance. I'm immensely proud of it. I thought...
It's a solid, considering the Lions only beat them once and pretty much failed quite fairly miserably some of the time as well.
But I thought every single Wales player had a good game, and players like Ryan Elias at hooker, Rhys Carre at loose head prop, and Nick Tompkins were sort of questioned by a lot of the people in the media and the Welsh public over the week. And while they didn't have 10 out of 10 games, they all had very good games and showed that they were deserving of that starting spot.
With that end scoreline, you can't criticise Welsh at all much.
And when you, especially, I think we played well enough to win that. We just got unlucky.
Yeah.
We just got unlucky. And we lost to what is, of course, a very, very good Springboks team. And I want to give a shout out to Sia Khaleesi, who was just immense.
He's always immense.
Every game. But every game, because now whenever I watch the Springboks, I think that's Sia Khaleesi's best game since the last time I watched him play.
Yeah.
He made this tackle. It's early in the first half, and it's on the wing, Rhys Sammet. He steps Mapimpi, and he's running through to the try line. He's close. Khaleesi has an excellent tackle on him, completely chops him down and puts him into touch. So, you know, Khaleesi's just immense. The Springboks pack is immense. And,
physicality is the name of the game.
They get their first win in Cardiff since 2013.
Oh, wow. That's
which is actually
very surprising.
Quite impressive, I think.
So, if anything, that's an upset, we can call it.
I don't think we can.
Statistically, that's an upset.
Yeah, all right. But yeah, so the Springboks steamrolling on, and they head up to Murrayfield next week, and then, of course, the big one, Twickenham in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
What a game that's going to be. I know we keep saying it, but
we'll get on to
I just can't get over it. Anyway, moving on then to the final game on Saturday, which was France versus Argentina, where we got to see for the first time Dupont at 9, Jalibert at 10, and Smack at 12. I'll be honest, I don't think it lived up to everything it promised. France played very well, don't get me wrong, and I thought...
they got the win, so...
Yeah, they did. And Argentina were, in all honesty, disappointing. they've had a disappointing year, and it was they weren't special. But France got the win, and you can't really ask for more.
I also didn't watch this game, so I can't comment too much apart from what I can get from the scoreline.
Yeah.
And what Hugh can tell me.
Yeah.
Because he watched every single game that.
Although, I did. Although, after that point, I was really pissed off. Really pissed off.
I mean, you were from Friday, which we'll get onto soon, but...
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know, though, I'll describe this to you now. You know how I was on Friday after the Bath game? You know how I had all that pent-up rage that I didn't let out because we were in public?
Yes.
In the safety of my flat, I let that out.
Oh, no.
To what we'll call devastating impact.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You can ask my flatmates about it if you want. And by the way, to them, I apologise, but I don't really apologise because I get very emotional and it's important to let that rage out.
Is this on the Saturday or
That was on
Friday?
the Saturday. No, the Friday, I was able to get rid of it by the time I got home. But on the Saturday, it was how I was pent up but let out.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The listeners don't want to know the wrath of an annoyed Hugh at a weekend of poor results in rugby.
No.
For his teams he support is. But should we continue with
France, Argentina. I don't really know what more to say, I'll be honest.
No.
I don't remember it that well, the game. Probably not great for a rugby podcast, but I can remember the key points, and France just looked a mile ahead.
Just better in most ways.
France weren't even that good. They relied mostly on the boot from their fullback.
Yeah.
But they just looked better. They didn't play good, but they still looked a mile ahead of Argentina.
At the end of the day, it's just over the 80 minutes, the better side got the more points and won the game.
Yeah, so. I'm going to be really interested to see Argentina Italy next week.
Oh, I'm too.
Because I think Italy are capable of pulling off an upset there, based on how this Argentina is playing at the moment. But then if we move on to the Sunday game,
Scotland, Australia,
Murrayfield.
Cracker, Murrayfield.
I love that game.
Atmosphere. What a game in general. Just
mind you, do you know what? Yeah, I felt for a lot of it. It was more about who could do the most petulant shit, because there were a lot of breaks. There were a lot of handbags, weren't there?
Yeah.
But Scotland beating Australia isn't something that happens all the time.
No.
Well, now it is, because they've beaten them 3 times in a row. But it's not something that happens all the time. So that is
It's
huge.
weird as an old rugby fan to get used to the fact, but maybe they've just got to be favourites going into every game because...
Yeah, but I think should talk about, towards the end of the first half, the Australia yellow card? Because they had the try disallowed.
Yes.
That was a harsh yellow.
It was.
Look, I get how he wants to avoid head contact, but to me, it just looked like a rugby incident.
Yeah, it just looked like head contact's unavoidable.
It looked like something that happens at every breakdown.
Well, the thing is, when you've got a Jackal so low, what's the clear out plan going to do?
It was a very, very tough yellow. A very tough yellow. And you know what? I agreed with Michael Hooper on the ref mic, because Rowan Poir was walking over to give the yellow, and Michael Hooper went, "You serious?" And I did say I agreed with him. Very harsh. I can definitely see why it's given as a penalty.
I mean, it's one of those.
Even if it was a penalty,
of the law, it is a yellow card.
Yeah, there's head contact.
You could give a yellow card then at every 90% of rocks.
You could give it at every breakdown.
Well, anyone that's actually contested by the other team.
Yeah,
I'm sure
something like that happens at every breakdown.
Yeah.
Without fail. But do you know what, did you see? Because they didn't show it and they didn't review it. It was Xander Fagerson sort of...
I didn't see that, actually, because I missed some spots of the game.
But on the replay, because that started handbags, as it did, and it showed for 2 seconds just this angle where you can clearly see Xander Fagerson. I don't know if it was an eye gouge, but it was definitely... He put his hand on Michael Hooper's face, and it definitely looked near the eye. And I
think they'd review it?
I was quite shocked it wasn't reviewed.
Has he been cited?
No, he hasn't been cited. It was weird. It was weird.
I'm guessing they viewed it again and it was nothing
but it was only on the replay for about half a second.
Yeah.
So that's
There's a lot of things you sometimes spot at home as a viewer on a replay that you think, they got to check that, but obviously they're all looking at the wrong areas of the screen or something, and it's not checked. I don't know.
It was a bit weird. But Australia... towards the end of that game, they picked up a few injuries during the game.
Yeah.
So they didn't have
what
they
the depth
would want
and
out.
the freshness.
Yeah, but I thought Will Skelton, when he came on, had a good game.
He's been a cracking player for a while, especially for Sarries when I've seen him.
Yeah, it's great to see him back in Australia.
Yeah.
That's a big asset for the Australians.
Yeah, it really is.
And do you know what, again, Michael Hooper, just excellent.
He's another one that's been around for that long time.
I mean, he's still in his 20s.
Yeah,
and but he has 108 caps.
Exactly, he's been there.
He could definitely break Alan Wynne-Jones's record.
Yeah, because he's been playing. He's still playing at a quality level, and he's been playing there for a long time.
He's playing world class.
Yeah,
he's always in that conversation for the best open side.
Yeah,
in the world. Over the breakdown, he's excellent. His work rate, his tackling. You can't say enough good things about him. He's got to be probably the most
consistent Australian player.
Well, he definitely is, and he's played every Australian game for years.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, that's how you get 108 caps before you're 30.
Yeah, which is crazy to think of, actually.
So, Michael Hooper once again. But now, unlike what it's been over the past, you'd say probably since the 2015 World Cup, where he's been in a disappointing Australia side, now he's in a much improving Australia side that are building quietly and nicely towards the World Cup.
Yeah, and you could say that about a lot of sides, and it makes me very excited for this World Cup.
Going to be excited to see Australia against England this weekend.
Yeah.
So they can pitch themselves against England. Because then you can sort of compare it to how the World Cup quarter-final went, where England ended up just storming away with it. Yeah, but England still sort of went away with it.
And you always expected in that game that to happen eventually.
Yeah, because Australia were not in good form.
But now you can't expect the same.
No, I mean, Scotland ended their 5-game win streak.
Yeah.
In which they beat the Springboks twice.
Yeah.
Which is certainly not an easy feat.
Oh, not at all.
No, so, Scotland, excellent win for Scotland. They'll be delighted with that. And it will give them great confidence going to South Africa at Murrayfield. But Australia building rather nicely.
Yeah, and I think that brings us to the end of the international action.
Yes.
Back to some more local stuff in the Gallagher Premiership. Which better place to start than a Friday night down...
On Fire Night.
Yeah.
All the fireworks going off at Welford Road.
At Welford Road. A cold Friday night with Tigers v Bath. The clash it used to be, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Is it still the clash this year?
Well, no, it's not this. We're not having a clash this year.
Ah, boring. But no, what a big old rivalry and a big old game in my opinion. Me and Hugh were both watching it in the pub.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try speak more so Hugh doesn't have to go through the pain again.
Yeah. Thank you.
I can see him silently suffering as I describe how this game went and meticulously go through it slowly and see the pain seeping out of his brain and into his physical.
I'm glad we don't record this. You'll probably hear an audible drop in my voice though.
Yes, heavy breathing and anger.
Yeah.
No, I felt, and people I've spoken to, and a lot of people felt that Bath, considering the Bath we've known this season, considering the Tigers team isn't a bad Tigers team. It's not like a usual international break
good
team.
Tigers team.
It was still, and they didn't have much players missing. They still have George Ford starting and everything.
Manny Nandolo, Harry Potter.
I felt Bath. There was some errors. There was poor bits of Bath. That's why they conceded 40 points. But I think a lot of players played quite well, very well compared to how they played before.
I thought Josh McNally in the second row had a good game.
Yeah,
I thought he was.
And I think Bath had a. I would say for Bath a really good game. But Hugh is looking at me, daggers in his eyes. I feel, of course, Tigers put 40 points on them.
And it very much comes down to that. They put 40 points on us.
But for the first 50 minutes, it was a fairly tight game.
Oh, yeah. So we were in a score for 50 minutes.
Well, that's better than the 10 minutes you've lasted in every other game. So, but no, I think it was much improved from Bath. They can build on it. Hugh absolutely got livid when I said it's top of the league v bottom of the league. But the fact is, it is. If you look at it in that way,
yeah,
there's technically easier teams, I say in quotation marks, to come up. I'm going to be intrigued to see how Bath face those teams now compared to Tigers, because if they put in that performance they did against Tigers, tidy things up around the edges, I think they'll be much, much better. And actually, I think I compare them to a team like Worcester.
Great. So our level is no longer the top of the league. It's Worcester. No disrespect to Worcester. No, actually, a lot of disrespect.
No. What I was going to say,
Worcester.
I look at a team like Worcester, I see Bath they're just far, far better than them. But they just haven't done something.
Honestly,
with winning
I think we play them tomorrow. We don't beat Worcester, because you may say it was an improved Bath performance. It just, quite frankly, still wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. At no point when watching that game did I think, even as a Bath fan, did I think we're going to beat them. Not at one point.
I do admit, yes.
Even when we got within a score, I did not think we'd be the team to score next.
But no, I did feel there was an element of they could. I feel that I didn't expect it, but I thought there is an element. If something here goes Bath, if there's a big momentum swing from a Bath player does something big,
I didn't see.
Then there's something there.
I didn't see who would have caused that. I didn't see.
No,
I didn't see that would happen. I don't think it even is a point of we could have beat them. We just didn't look like beating them at any point in that game. Add on to that, our defence is still shocking. We conceded 40 points. We couldn't defend them all for shit. Yeah. We did not know how to defend them all.
That was really the main undoing of your game.
There are so many holes in our defence. I have no idea what the coaches are doing. And the saddest thing about it is I am so grateful that we now have 3 weeks without the Premiership.
Yeah.
And do you know what? 2 out of those 3 weeks, Bath aren't playing, and I am grateful about that. And isn't that such a sorry state of affairs?
It is, but I feel, well, really the driving maul was the undoing of the Bath team. That's one area.
We have no set piece, because our scrum wasn't good enough either.
No, really just the set piece in general was poor.
We have a specialist line-out coach in Luke Charteris. You add him in, because when he played, he could reach over players. He was able to disrupt them all. I don't get what the coaches are doing, where it's gone so badly wrong, that we're now in November and still don't have a win.
How long with that said, I think they are improving. Little by little. You have to say that. From past games. How long before they do get a win? I don't know what their fixtures are looking like.
We've got Exeter in the Premiership next at the end of the month.
But I mean, even this Premiership, no. I wouldn't put it.
I honestly,
with a 3-week break as well, I think it couldn't come at a better time. It could have come earlier for Bath.
Yeah,
a 3-week break. But now you've got the 3-week break. It's gonna. I think it's gonna help Bath out a lot.
There's gonna have to be a lot of soul searching going on at the club. A lot of soul searching.
Yeah. Anyway, should we move on for this game just to take your pain away to a game that I went to?
Yeah.
Because I'm a Bristol Bears fan, if you didn't know. Bristol Bears v Worcester Warriors, 27-5 to the Bears. I watched the full game. There was about 35 minutes where there was only 3 points scored by the Bears.
Yeah, not great.
But I have to say, most of that period was just... The reason there was no action was because Bristol just didn't get the ball. They didn't look after the ball.
Yeah.
Or they didn't really compete for the ball. Their game plan didn't seem to be to keep the ball.
Yeah.
And they were very much happy and comfortable letting there be Worcester attack middle of the field.
Yeah.
I mean, Worcester's attack was just poor.
Well, when they're not threatening you in any sense, you do just.
They just sat comfortably, and then when the opportunity came, when they got the ball, when something happened, they took the opportunities. Yeah. It's like they weren't massively clinical. There was some points left on the table still, but it was much better from Bristol. And in the defence, the amount of time Worcester were on the 5 metre line for a long time. Well, not a long period of the game, because they got to the 5 metre line, get pushed back 30 metres, and it just shows how lacklustre this Worcester attack is.
But then on the other hand, good Bristol defence.
Yeah, really good Bristol defence actually. And I had to laugh. There was a period of about a lot of phases, just middle of the field, just inside Bristol's half where Worcester had the ball. They were just going side to side.
Yeah.
Then they decided to do kick tennis. Bristol then kick it out, and it lands in the exact same position with Worcester. But no, as a Bristol fan, I never felt that game was... Worcester scored 1 try they shouldn't really have got, because They wouldn't have shown it in the highlights, but that came from a kick battle where Sheedy basically made a mistake, tried to run, he passed it back to Yeren, who ran backwards about 10 metres into his own 22, didn't decide to kick the ball, got caught, and then Worcester got possession from it. On the 5 metre from because we had to touch the ball down on our line. Stupid mistake from Bristol. If that didn't happen, it would have been a 0.
Yeah, but it was a great finish for the Worcester winger.
What a finish.
Excellent finish.
I mean, because I go there with a lot of Bristol fans that I know, we were just saying that was a brilliant try.
Yeah. I mean,
they can have that. That's a brilliant
The
try.
only finish that could rival that over the weekend was the Scottish hooker in the Australia game.
Yeah. Oh, that's Scottish. We didn't talk about that.
No, we didn't.
But that was incredible.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Great finish.
I thought it was I called it like, because I was doing stuff in the middle of it. I was doing some work, and then I just hear the commentators talk about it going in the corner, look over, see this player do that. I'm like, oh, that's a really good finish from the winger.
Yeah.
No, it's number 16. It's the replacement.
He'll never have to finish like that again in his career, but it was excellent.
He probably wouldn't be able to if he tried.
No, it was incredible. But yeah.
Back on the Worcester game. Really, it was good from Bristol, promising.
Yeah.
Worcester, pretty poor again, but I'm going to be intrigued to see. Sheedy had a poor game, I felt. I can't see him getting near the Wales squad playing like that.
No, especially since I think Anscombe was good when he came off the bench, and Dan Bigger was excellent as well.
No, she didn't have the best. He had enough of a good game. He didn't do that much wrong, but there was an air in Bristol that it wasn't his strongest performance, and a lot of mistakes would have cost us against stronger teams. But with that said, they got the win. It's not much to comment on because it was a fairly, don't want to say easy game, but comfortable game. Yeah, well, not routine because we've not got used to winning. Winning's not a routine at this point.
Season, but
no, comfortable.
Yeah,
nothing to. Yeah, it's a win. 5 points.
Yeah, so
I think we move on.
With that, move on to Sale versus Northampton. 30 points to 6. Sale won that game.
Such an unexpected result. Yeah, it's like
disappointing from Northampton. That.
Yeah, so how can a team go from losing to Worcester?
Yeah.
To then beating Saints.
Yeah, mind you, they had AJ McGinty back at 10. And have they missed AJ McGinty? Is AJ McGinty making that bit of an impact?
I
mean, don't get me wrong, they've had their injury troubles at halfback at the start of this season, and especially with Rafu Kirk going up with England. They've had that. They haven't been able to gain consistency or build patterns there.
Yeah.
But with AJ McGinty, there's a sense of familiarity, and... Well,
I mean, for Saints, you expect Saints to score points, regardless of who they're playing. You expect them to score points.
Yeah. Only 6.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Yeah, I didn't see the game.
No, it was on TV. Nothing was on TV on Saturday for the Premiership.
Yeah, that's
why? Why BT?
Yeah, is it BT? Is it Premiership Rugby? I don't know.
Well, why? But anyway,
whoever's in charge of it, sort it out.
Yeah.
We can watch the full match games anyway, or after the fact.
Yeah.
So why not?
Who the hell has the time for that?
What is it? I watch some of them back.
Yeah, but we can't.
I run a rugby podcast. So.
Well, I commentate on this rugby podcast.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you do too. Well, actually, I don't know, but for general viewers, it's a lot more tedious having to go on to it.
Yeah,
but for the die-hard rugby fans, that would potentially. Skip out and buy.
You're not gonna bring in casual viewers if you're having no games on the telly on Saturday. Even though the international rugby's on, there's still club rugby. Put a game on. Put a game on.
I found myself missing the rugby. I was watching the Exeter Bucks game live.
Yeah,
I was
but that means we can't really talk about Shark Saints stats well. But we can talk about not well because we didn't watch it. But what happened at Sandy Park?
I was about to ask you the same. What the hell happened there?
I mean, this fixture last year finished, 72-5 to Exeter?
Yeah.
And this season they lose 14-15.
I mean, you have to say Exeter have been not in the same form.
They've been very inconsistent.
Yeah, but Falcons, still never saw Falcons beating the Chiefs at Sandy Park.
No, that's their first win ever at Sandy Park.
Yeah.
And again, put into context, they lost this fixture 72-5 last season.
Yeah,
I mean, did you see their second try, Falcons' second try? That nice bit of trickery from the line out.
Oh, I did it.
Where they had dummy runners.
It dummied me at the start.
Yeah. It was a cracking try. Really well worked.
Yeah, it was like a really simple dummy. You seem to see it.
But no one ever pulls that off something like that. It was a great set.
You see it a lot of times at the scrum with the 9 going the other side to the number 8. It's just they've thought, hang on, this is the exact same people in the exact same places, but just in a line out. We can do it here and close to the try line and a score. I mean,
it was a great try, a really good try, and what a stunning result.
Yeah. Big upset. Chiefs, of course, they have a fair amount of England players.
They sent a good squad. They have Jack Noel there. They, really.
You would expect them to beat Falcons, but
and Falcons thoroughly deserve the win because they were just the better team. They were. But if we talk about a result that was more what the fuck.
Sarries v Irish.
I mean, 60 minutes. It's 34-8.
But Irish.
And Irish have 14 men.
Yeah. Yeah, it's even crazier to think when you think they had 14 men for that whole...
Yeah, the whole game.
Yeah.
Then, somehow, they come back in the last 20 minutes to draw the game 34-all.
But Irish, I mean, they're very good at drawing.
Very good.
And they're very good at late comebacks. They never know when they're beaten. They never know when they're beaten.
No.
Even if they don't come back and win, they always seem to have a late surge.
They just did not give up.
You saw it against Bristol as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same old Irish story, though. They let teams get away from them too much and then play...
And then playing catch-up.
Yeah. I mean...
But the way they played in the last 20 minutes, if they play like that, the 80, they win it easily.
Well, yeah.
But... oh my God, I can't say what the fuck happened. I don't know what the fuck happened.
No, I imagine you're a Sarries fan of that game. I mean, imagine you're a Sarries fan, full stop. But must have been so disappointing for the Sarries guys. They put in a shift for 60 minutes and then let it slip at the end because you'd have to say if it was 34-8, that's a pretty convincing win for Sarries. Yeah. But shame the game's 80 minutes and not 60. So.
Yeah, heartbreaking for those 6 Saracens fans. But then, if we move on to what was the final game of the weekend...
And another, not quite as what the fuck, but still what the fuck happened.
Right, the first half was over an hour long.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the fault, because Ali Crossdale got a really unfortunate injury. Concussed, knocked out, looked really bad, had to be stretchered off. In all fairness, he put his head into Andre Esterhazen's thighs. And at that point, that's going to be difficult not to get knocked out because they are basically tree trunks going at you at 20 miles an hour. Yeah. But yeah, that's really unfortunate.
2 giant oak trees managing to manufacture their way towards your face.
Yeah, but the first half was so long. It was so long.
Did it get tedious as well towards?
Yeah, it did a bit because at the end of the half, when the ball just about 10 seconds before they had a scrum. Quins, and they try and play it for about 2 minutes, and I just kick it out because they didn't go anywhere. But anyway, Wasps in that first half went 16-0 up. You have to say they were not clinical enough. Their red zone efficiency was really poor. They were nowhere near clinical enough.
I feel Wasps sometimes they've been like that.
Well, they've been that all season because their red zone efficiency's been really bad. Really bad. They should be scoring a lot more. They really need to take their opportunities.
They make some great opportunities.
Yeah, they really need to
they just never capitalise on them, which is...
Yeah. But Quins in the second half launch a grand old comeback because that's 16-0. That should be the game over. But... the game's never over with Quins. With Quins, the game's never over.
As a Bristol fan, I think I know more than most teams that if Quins are losing at half-time, there's a very good chance...
That's when they're most dangerous.
Yeah, there's a 75% chance they're going to win.
Yeah.
Especially, and the bigger the deficit is...
the more likely they are to win.
Yeah, and the more they'll win by is...
But yeah, Quins, and with no Smith or Tommy Allen, so they were playing Edwards at 10, who had a very decent game in all fairness. But yeah, they pull off the win. It really... The battle for and in the top 4 is really, really interesting.
I mean, you can't predict it really.
No, you can't.
Because you could still have teams like, I mean, I hope Bristol. If they pick up in form now,
far-fetched, eh?
No, because they're not that far behind.
No,
if you look
they're
at
not.
they win 2 games, they're right up there.
Yeah,
they're only
true.
10 points-ish behind the top team. And because they got a game in hand as well, because they've had their bye week compared to a lot of the top teams.
Yeah.
So, and soon, I think if they win the next game, they'll have one half and half. Only lost 4 games.
Yeah.
Which isn't massive. It's not horrible. You look at Quins last season. They had a massive comeback, and they were down in Christmas. By Christmas, they were quite low down in the league. So it's definitely possible for anyone really.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Well, other than Bath, really, but hey ho.
Well, if Bath turn out to play like Leicester for the rest of the season, it is technically possible.
It's not.
But it's Bath. So.
So that sort of rounds up our rugby action for the weekend.
Yes.
So I don't know if we want to do a quick sort of whistle-stop tour of this weekend's internationals, or if we want to do our last week's predictions and how they went.
We've just done the premiership, might as well.
Yeah.
Keep on the train.
I remember what I predicted for Arkin Tigers. This was more hope than anything.
Well, you predicted Bath by 1.
Yeah.
So that's 0 points for you on that one.
Yeah.
I predicted Tigers by 20, which,
close.
17, 20, same thing, but I only get 1 point, sadly.
Yeah.
So Bristol v Worcester.
Yeah.
What was the final score then? What's the points difference?
27-5.
So 22.
Yeah.
You said Bris by 18.
Ooh.
I said Bris by 17.
Okay.
So we both get a point for that. Yeah.
What's next?
Sarries v Irish.
Yeah.
What fools we were. We said Sarries by 21 and Sarries by 31. Who's going to predict a draw, really?
Exactly. Exactly. And honestly, until about 60 minutes, both files could have come true.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're never going to... Actually, against Irish, I might predict a few more draws if this is the case. But let's move to Sharks v Saints.
Yeah.
You said Sale by 8.
Okay.
I said Saints by 4.
Okay.
So
that's a point for me, none for you.
Yeah. I've written it down the wrong way. Hang on. I had some faith in Saints. Obviously misplaced.
And obviously we were misplaced here.
Yeah, Chiefs v Falcons. We both got it wrong. You said Chiefs by 16. I said by 11.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Exeter.
Yeah.
Anyway, Wasp v Quins.
Wasp v Quins. Well, we both got it wrong.
Did we?
And we both said the wrong team.
We both said Wasp.
We both said Wasp. You said by 3. I said by 5. So, scores on the doors after that round. Actually, I don't have the total from all the other ones added up yet. I should probably get on and do that.
But we've got 2 points this week.
But we've got 2 points each.
Yeah, okay.
Even Stevens. Actually, I do have the points from the last round, and I'm pretty sure overall we're either level or 1 point apart.
Okay. We'll find out.
We're very, very close to each other. If you don't know, this is our predictions. 1 point if you guess the right team, 3 more points if you get the right score.
Yeah. Or right margin rather than score.
Right margin.
Too difficult. Anyway, do you want to quickly do a quick whistle-stop tour of this weekend's international?
Yeah, we won't go... Should we just go with who we think will win?
I suppose Italy, Argentina.
Going to be a cracker, really, I think.
I think it could be.
I don't know if it'll be a cracker in terms of game-wise. More just intriguing to see who's going to come out the better side, because one side Argentina could easily
not playing well at the moment.
The better
Italy
of
on the up. Yeah, they could.
But one side could easily, Argentina, they could easily just get the better of them and put a score on Italy. Yeah. But it's just one of those games that's really hard to tell whether any team's gonna have that upper hand.
I think Argentina will win it.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be actually by a lot.
Italy.
No, and I think Italy will put in a great performance.
But I don't think they made enough progress at this stage.
Not quite there yet, but they're getting there. Then the other game at 1 o'clock is Scotland versus South Africa at Murrayfield. I think it's hard to bet against the Springboks. I think the Springboks win it.
Especially against Scotland. I think they play a style that is going to...
Yeah, mind you...
I don't want to say crumble Scotland, but...
Yeah, I think... No, I don't think so. I think it won't actually be as close as the Wales-South Africa game was.
No.
But I think Scotland won't be embarrassed. Not at all.
I think the Murrayfield crowd as well. the difference it makes is actually incredible.
Yeah, it is.
The momentum they get on the front.
Do you know what? Yeah, in all fairness, Murrayfield, you know the noise where during South Scotland where they cut off the music and just go a cappella? It is an incredible noise.
It is.
They should just do that at the Principality of Wales.
If there's any team that is not going to be fazed by a lot of noise,
it's the Springboks.
It's the Springboks, because they don't care. No. They just want to smash you. Complain about the ref a bit after the game.
But, it's hard to bet against Springboks for that. So then, Ireland, New Zealand. This could be interesting.
Yes, because Ireland put a massive score on Japan, of course.
I think Ireland are playing good rugby.
So, yeah.
But on the other hand, it's hard to get a bet against the All Blacks.
It is. But
you know what? I hold on to this. I think the All Blacks are beatable at the moment. I really think it.
England showed it since the World Cup. They're beatable if you have a game plan.
South Africa beat them in the Rugby Championship.
Yeah.
I thought in the Bledisloe, Australia played well against them. They weren't good enough at that point to beat them. But I remember watching it and thinking, a team like Ireland or England can beat that All Blacks team. Yeah. I'm not saying it's a will, I'm saying it's a can.
And England showed in the World Cup, if you have a game plan and a physicality that meets New Zealand, you can convincingly beat New Zealand.
Yeah. But look, it's hard to bet against the All Blacks. Ireland will run them close, though.
At least close, It'll be a very good game.
So then if we move on to England-Australia.
Again, I wouldn't discount Australia.
No, I wouldn't.
Depends what England's squad gets put out.
I think you'd expect rather similar to the one that's put out against Tonga.
And as I said, with people still gelling, maybe.
Yeah, but
I'd have to back England with the squad they've got.
Australia playing well, but I don't think they're just quite there yet.
No.
Plus, their squads, they've had a few injuries, and of course, some players stay back for personal reasons.
And you look, England have got a lot of depth in their squad now.
And a lot of talent as well.
Yeah, and a lot of really, really good players that are hungry to seal their... They've got a lot of competition in their squad as well, which is really good for making players want to seal their spot in that squad.
I mean, a year ago, I thought England would have run away with this game, but now it's not going to be that, not at all.
Yeah.
Australia building well, but I just think England are just better at the moment. More well-rounded, they got a game plan.
I think it'll be one of those games. It's not like no side's going to play horribly. It's just England over the 80 minutes, going to get the better of them, going to just physically beat them.
Yeah, so then if we move on to the Sunday's games, first up is France versus Georgia.
I mean,
can't really bet against France in that.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. I think I wouldn't be surprised if I see a similar scoreline to England Tonga. Because Georgia are a good side, but
they're better than Tonga. And I also think France will make some changes. But even France's second and third team at the moment is really good.
That's the thing. France are incredibly good.
Yeah,
and I just don't see. I mean, Georgia have a lot of good aspects and they're better than Tonga, but it gets to a point when a team is just better than the other, the amount of points difference is almost the same.
I mean,
how many more tries can you run in?
I mean, I don't think it'd be as bad as England Tonga was, but I think France will put a few tries on them. But if we move on to the final game of the weekend, is Wales against Fiji. That should be a good game.
Should be. I mean, I'd expect Wales to have it.
Yeah, I would as well, but I don't think it's going to be a blitz.
Fiji without Semi-Randrandra.
I mean, at the World Cup, it was Wales 27, Fiji 23 in the pool stages.
Yeah, but I just feel the Wales squad now is stronger than the World
also
Cup.
Fiji, Narendra, and it's only Northern Hemisphere-based players, so they don't even have Vern Cotter with them because he's still in New Zealand.
Yeah,
so in that sense, it's a bit of a disadvantage for Fiji. But, Fiji are going to throw around some great offloads and put in some big hits, and it's going to be a thoroughly entertaining game to watch.
Yeah, and I think Wales will have it, but I think it'll be a good game. Fiji are always entertaining to watch. You always put on a show for us.
Yeah, but it'll be a nice game to watch that. It'll be some nice Sunday afternoon viewing.
And fingers crossed, no pitch invaders.
Fingers crossed, no pitch invaders that cost us games. But anyway, on that bitter note...
yes, let's leave you with that sour taste in your mouth.
On that bitter note, I think this is probably a good point to end the podcast there. I don't think we have much more to talk about.
No, not from me.
So here's to a great weekend of rugby, and we'll talk to you all next week.
Yeah, see you next week on every Wednesday. Goodbye.